Hi, my name is Joe Cuellar, and I'm a product manager for DNF Security. I've been with DNF Security for just over 2 years, serving as an account manager and product manager. I want to thank you for taking the time out your busy schedules to listen to us today. So let's go ahead and begin. Surveillance technology is going through a change. A transition, if you will, from older analog-based technology to a digital IP-based medium that is more flexible with many more features and benefits. Now, we've seen this movie before. We've seen the transition from cassette-based Walkmans to iPods, VCRs to DVD players. We could go on and on. Analog TVs to HD digital TVs. Video surveillance is one of the last analog frontiers. There are many factors that are driving the transition, some of which we'll discuss today. But what if you've already invested in an analog surveillance system? What if you already have 10, 20 analog cameras? Are you missing out? Do you have to bring the forklift in and haul out the old to bring in the new? Is there another option? For the next several minutes, we'll examine factors that are driving the explosion of video surveillance. We'll also outline some differences between the old and new technologies and discuss how it's possible for them to both function on a single platform. We'll then open it up at the end for any questions that you might have about hybrid surveillance platforms. Our engineer's online with us, so if the question gets really technical, he'll be able to help us out. So let's discuss the driving forces behind this technology transition. Today's tough economic climate conditions are contributing to higher rates of crime. A recent survey of 100 police chiefs in the United States linked the economic crisis to the rise in crime. Of those 100 police chiefs, 39% of them said they had seen an increase in robberies, 32% an uptick in burglaries, and 40% saw an increase in theft from vehicles. Desperate times means that there will be more desperate people. Construction managers have to worry about securing raw materials on the job site that contain copper and aluminum because they're often targeted and stolen and recycled for cash. Property owners are reporting more incidences of theft, vandalism, and illegal dumping. Retailers are doing everything they can to hold on to what they have and reduce waste. Personal safety is no longer taken for granted. We feel better when we see a camera in an elevator or a poorly lit parking lot. In fact, we've come to expect it. What is the first thing that comes to mind when we hear of a crime being committed in a public place? I hope they caught it on the video camera. Now let's take a closer look at analog and IP surveillance systems and how they're deployed and used today. The majority of video cameras that are used today are based on analog technology. The technology's been around for many years and continues to be very popular for several reasons. Number one being cost. It is the standard for video security and surveillance today. You can find analog surveillance systems in almost any bank, any casino, mall, large department store. In fact, analog systems have become so affordable, small businesses of every kind also have analog systems in their stores for security purposes. You don't have to have a Fortune 500 budget to outfit your office or property with a few cameras and a DVR. They're very easy to set up and maintain. If you can point a camera, turn a screw, and connect a cable, you can install a basic analog system. With analog systems, you have a greater flexibility design. Analog cameras often come in a variety of designs, such as mini covert cameras all the way to large PTZ models. So you get a lot of choices on the cameras. Compatibility is not too much of a problem with analog system. It's much easier to mix and match cameras and brands if you're using analog versions. And then analog cameras also work in very specific application, like areas where there's not very much light and those types of areas. But they do have a downside. Since they're based on old technology, image quality can be a problem, especially if you need to zoom in on a small image like a face or a license plate. resolution levels are still relatively low with analog cameras. I've talked to many property managers and property owners who have analog camera systems installed, and they thought they were providing adequate protection until they had to zoom in on an image. The image was so bad, it's not usable. What they needed was one IP camera that had the power and the resolution to view very small details. Analog cameras are fine for a laundry room or to view the entrance of the front of the building, but not at a choke point, not in places where you may need to zoom in to very small images. Analog cameras also aren't very secure. The analog signals are very easy to hijack and steal. Cabling for analog cameras is more expensive, not to mention the higher labor costs to install it. Analog systems have no remote monitoring capabilities. You have to either be at the site to see what's going on, or you would have to review a recorded copy on a VCR or something like that. Either way, you're not going to be able to catch all crimes that are happening in progress.